Douglas for Sherdog.com, and with me is one of the true rising star talents of the sport. Honestly, since he is the world champion now, he isn't really a rising star. He's pretty much a legit superstar of one championship at just 20 years old, and that is Christian Lee. Christian, thank you for giving me some time tonight because I'm sure you are a very busy man as a new world champion.
No problem, Jason. It's great talking with you.
Now, about you just about a few days from your 21st birthday, so happy early birthday to you. Um,
Thank
are
you.
you at all shocked you are where you are at this point? Not because of a skill set level. I mean, you know, hell, you can't legally drink yet for another few days, but you're a champion, one of the champion of the world, one of the best lightweight fighters in the world. I mean, is it still like kind of getting a grasp on it that's happened this quickly and just what I think you're 15 fights and is it still kind of sinking in the position you are in right now already?
Yeah. Well, initially it was surreal. The title shot came out of nowhere, and it all happened so quickly. But now I feel like um, I'm really starting to realize that I am the world champion. I'm in the gym, training hard every day, and I'm just staying hungry, waiting for the next top contender to face. So, I'm very happy with where I'm at right now.
Now, before we get into the fight with Shinya Aoki, which is a major fight, talk to me a bit about just your journey to MMA because you are in a unique situation that, along with your journey, you have a sister that's a couple years older than you. That's a high level world class fighter. Talk to me about your upbringing, and I think you moved from Canada to Hawaii and growing up like in a martial arts kind of background family, and how do you get to this eventual point on a world class level with one championship?
Well, my sister and I, we grew up training in martial arts. My parents were both martial arts instructors. They own multiple schools in Canada,
Mm.
and from there, our family moved to Hawaii. We continued our training, and so for my sister and I, we really never stopped in our martial arts training from the time we started 4 years old up until now. And that's why we were able to accomplish everything that we did at such a young age, and we've still got so much to go.
What particular practice did you do? What martial arts was it? Like a taekwondo? Was it karate? What did you guys start? And what are your family? What is their background in?
Initially, my dad's background was taekwondo, but as he started teaching, he was learning all of the disciplines. And when he opened up his first school, his first martial arts school, he taught um, he taught the early stages of mixed martial
Mm.
arts. He actually um, started a system called Total Defense System, and he worked on striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. So he really taught us mixed martial arts from the time we started training.
Wow. Now, getting into the Shinya Aoki fight, Shinya Aoki is a unique guy in that even when I interviewed him before the Folayang fight, he pretty much said that he's so dedicated to martial arts. Once he stops doing martial arts, in general, not MMA, just martial arts, he hopes to die a few years later because once he's done with that, he doesn't want to do anything else. So he's a unique guy. So when he comes out and says to you, or not even says to you, says publicly, like, okay, when I want to have my first title offense, I want Christian Lee, a guy I've trained with. Like, what is your thought process? What are you feeling when you hear that? Is it like, oh man, Shinya thought that's awesome, I feel honored? Or after a certain point, it's like, damn, like, did Shinya, like, we practiced together, he thinks I'm an easy fight? Like what is the thoughts when you first heard that publicly?
Well, I was very
Mm.
surprised. I was actually there
Oh,
in Tokyo
okay,
for the event.
okay.
My sister fought on the same
Mm-hmm.
card, so I was wishing him good luck before the fight. I was congratulating him after, and then I opened up one article, and I heard the news that he wanted to fight me, and you know, I was surprised, but it wasn't there was no bad blood.
Mm.
I was actually very honored that he thought of me as a worthy contender for his title, and we felt each other in the gym. We both got the better of each other from time to time, and so I feel like he just really wanted to test himself against a young athlete like myself.
I mean, and that perfectly transitions into my next question. Because I wanted to ask about those training sessions. I mean, you said you had a back and forth, and you both got one up on each other. I mean, was it a type of thing like early on his wealth of experience was difficult, or was it always kind of balanced? Did it at all at times seem similar to how the fight itself played out? Like, and did you have confidence going into that fight, knowing you had trained with him more so than maybe if you hadn't trained with him and hadn't felt how he feels on the ground, stuff like that beforehand?
Well, I think the fact that we trained together prior to the fight um, made us both a little bit less on edge than we would be if we went in there with an opponent we've never faced. We're comfortable. We know each other as people, as martial artists, and so it definitely just brought it down to skill versus skill and will versus will. Um, when I first joined Evolve Fight Team, I just turned 17 years old.
Wow.
I was still in high school, and that's the first time we trained together. So I fought my hardest, but of course, Shinya was actually, when I joined, he was the current champ at the time.
Wow.
And so it's just a crazy journey. We trained together, and throughout the years, our matches in the gym started getting more and more competitive. And then the last time we trained together, I was 18, and that's when it was about 50-50. We were both pretty even. So from there, 2 years later, and all these fights later, 20 years old, I was very confident that my skills had improved tremendously in those 2 years since we last faced each other.
Now you say you faced him when you were 17. Is that like, are you kind of, when you're working with him, is it kind of like an awestruck? Are you like wowed by it? Like, did the fact that not only just on a physical level that you had gotten to train with him, that kind of gets the worries off, like just the awe is gone. You've trained with him, you've seen, you felt him, you've known, oh look, I'm as good as him. Like, was that also key to it? Like the mental, not just the physical edge of having already did it at such a young age?
Well, for me, whenever I train with someone, I like to consider them as my friend. And I was actually never planning on fighting Shinya.
Yeah.
My plan was to move up to lightweight, but I was going to wait until Shinya moved on from the lightweight division or something. So I was going to wait for that. But, the opportunity came and I took it. But I don't like to keep track of, like, how well we do in the gym, because at the end of the day, you can spar, you can train together, but a fight is very different than a training session. And so that's where the external variables come in. But as far as how it was when I first trained with him, at 17 years old, I was actually like, I give the credit to the way I was brought up, my upbringing from my dad. He really molded me into the person I am today. I've never been in awe. I've never been starstruck from anyone that I've ever met. I've been lucky to have met the biggest names in the sport. I've met a lot of famous people, but at the end of the day, I feel like we're all just human. I respect each and every person for their skills, for their accomplishments, but everyone's human.
Now, for the fight itself, he gets you down twice in the first couple of minutes, and in full mount the second time. At that moment, is there a serious worry at all? 'Cause of course, I'm sure you planned for this, you prepared that you might get to the ground and stuff like that with all the stuff, but when it happens that fast, and the second time he gets to full mount, is there like, damn, like I planned for this, but this was way faster than I expected. I did not want it to go like this. Was there any nervousness in those moments, those big moments during the fight?
Well, Shinya did a great job getting to the clinch in the first round, and he threw a knee. He baited me to throw my knee, and he was able to time the takedown. So I give him credit to that. That's from his 50 fights of experience. But when we hit the mat, I was not worried, not one bit. We had trained hours and hours in every situation. I've worked countless hours off of my back. I knew he was not going to submit me. He had a very tight armbar, but I worked way too hard to lose that fight. There was no way anything was going to stop me.
And I wanted to ask about the armbar too, because it was deep in there. I saw like you cringe a little bit. Was there ever, even for half a second, like, oh man, this is over, or it was just like, I'll keep going. I'm gonna grind through this. I prepare for this. I'm ready for this.
Yeah, there was not a single moment of doubt in my head. I was fully prepared to let my arm snap
Wow.
and continue fighting. So thankfully my training and my sensitivity was there, and I was able to find the right moment to slip out of the armbar. But nah, you will never see me tap in a fight.
Now, when you survive all of that, is it a huge confidence boost? Because you always see these in situations like that on the commentary team for fights where someone survives, like kind of like that best first shot from someone that's really gifted in a specific technique. Did you feel like a big confidence boost after you went to that first round bell ends, you get to the second round? Or was it more like, okay, I see what he's doing, be a little cautious? Which end did you end up on going into that second round?
Going back into the second round, I really
Got that out of the
way. Now let's go back to what we were supposed to do. And you know, my initial plan, our initial plan, was to do what I did in the second, in the first, and that's exactly what I did.
Right. Now you eventually get the stoppage in the second, beating a legend of the division, of Asian MMA, of the sport, of one of the faces of the promotion. Looking back now, because it's been some time since then, and having the time to reflect on it, what does that kind of achievement mean for you? You know, to do something over someone like that, finish them, win a title. What is that? What does that mean?
It's it's a very special moment that will stay with me forever. And for me, it's the start of my legacy. I am the champion of the lightweight division, and from here, I just plan on defending my belt as many times as possible, taking on as many big names as possible, and we'll see where it goes from
Now,
there.
just aside from yourself, I mean, what does it mean to you and your family to now you are a champion alongside your sister as a champion? Like, what is that like? Because as far as I know, never been done in MMA. I don't even know how many times it's even been done in combat sports in general to have two sibling male female world champions in a major promotion. What does that mean for you, your sister, your family? It's crazy. I can't even fathom anything like that. What's that like?
It's amazing, really. My sister and I, we've been for so long. We were our only training partners on the mats. We rolled around with each other ever since we were babies, and being brother sister world champions has been a goal of ours for as long as we can remember. And to have accomplished it at 20 and 22 years old, I'm just extremely grateful that everything in our lives worked out the way it did so that we could end up there. And I give all the credit to our parents for, no other kids could have accomplished what we did without great parents like them. So,
and I want to ask
definitely.
about also, like, and I'm glad you brought up that you were your only training partners rolling around as a kid. Like even up to now, how much of an influence are you on each other's careers and camps? Like, are you always training with each other even to this day in camps? I mean, I know she was in your corner for that fight, which was super touching. She's teary eyed and everything, emotional moment. Like, how influential are you in each other's camps even till now?
To this day, we are still a very big part of each other's lives. Of course, we both live in different households now, but we see each other every single day in the gym. We have morning training Monday to Friday. We train Monday to Saturday. We're seeing each other every single day. We do the warm-ups together. We actually get in at least one round of sparring every single day. So even though there's a big size difference between us, we're both high-level martial artists, and so we can both exchange techniques and still teach each other things that either one of us haven't learned yet.
I mean, and that all sounds good, but every sibling rivalry, not rivalry, but every sibling, they annoy each other, they get at each other. Like, what do you guys have, like, that you bother each other with? I'm sure it's not perfect happiness all the time. I'm sure you bug each other, you get on each other's nerves, you're the little brother. What do you do to bug each other?
You know what, like, it's kind of crazy, but we don't really argue much.
Wow.
We are so close, and whenever we see each other, we're in the gym working, and after it all, man, there's no energy. even if we had something to argue about, there would be no energy. But it's a beautiful thing, the relationship that my sister and I have.
Now, you lived most of your life in Hawaii. Hawaiian MMA is on a serious upswing. You know, of course, you got Max Holloway in the UFC, you got Lee Malay McFarland and Bellator, Ray Cooper in the PFL, and many other notable fighters. You and your sister are both, especially you now as a new world champion, are part of that movement. You know, is it cool to be a part of a movement that is putting the state on a major plateau in the sport? And have you yourself mingled with any of these big name stars that on the islands in your time training as a fighter?
Yeah, it's very cool. I love it here in
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii. Um, been raised here my whole life, and I do call this home. Of course, I represent Singapore as that's my
Mm-hmm.
blood,
Right.
so that's what I feel is right to represent. But yeah, man, I love it here. The everyone who makes it off of the rock,
Mm-hmm.
that they're gonna be a special fighter, and I've had the opportunity. Max Holloway and I, we've cross trained. I've gone to his
Mm-hmm.
gym. He's come to mine, and he's a great guy, incredible work ethic, and I just love getting in. The beautiful thing about Hawaii is you can get pretty much anywhere on the
Mm-hmm.
island within less than an hour drive.
Mm.
So we're always trying to cross train with as many people as we can, as many talented fighters.
Now I've talked to Ray Cooper, I've talked to Liam Lane McFarland, and Liam Lane McFarland mentioned like on the island people are fighting all the time, but it's not like a weird thing. It's just that's part of the culture on the islands. Since you and your sister are both badasses, have been martial artists since you were barely walking, have you had to get in those moments, or people knew don't mess with the Lee siblings, they're going to mess you up?
Yeah, I've never gone in a single street fight
Wow. Okay.
my whole
Right.
life, and I think I give a lot of credit to the fact that I've trained in martial arts my whole
Mm.
life. You know, um, I would say a big part of my life was spent in the gym
Okay.
training. Um, and as a person, I'm just not a very I don't get worked up
Mm.
too easily. So if there ever was a situation, I don't think I would ever engage anyways. So
All right, so
it's been
the obvious next questions are like, what is next? When do you think we will see you back in a rage and or cage? I mean, a cage or a ring in the future. Like, when do you think you will defend your title next? Are there any set dates? You have any ideas, opponents in mind?
um well, right now I know that the obvious choice would be the winner of the lightweight Grand
Okay.
Prix. Um, so I believe there's three people left in the Grand
Mm-hmm.
Prix. Um, Daggy, and then Timofey is going to be fighting Anario Bonario, and so we'll see who the winner is of that. But in the meantime, I would like to stay
Yeah.
active.
Right.
I definitely plan on defending my belt soon, so we're waiting to see uh, what top contender comes
Mm-hmm.
out, stands out in the lightweight division. Whoever won championship deems worthy of a title shot, I'll be more than happy to welcome them.
What I mean, I don't know if it's official yet, but I recently saw stories about Edward Foliang and Eddie Alvarez meeting up and they're facing. Would you have been interested in a fight with Foliang since he was the former champion? He had beaten Shinya before. Would that have been a fight that had interest you instead of him fighting Eddie Alvarez?
Yeah, absolutely. I welcome the winner
Mm.
of that match.
Mm.
So I'm interested to see how that plays out, and whoever wins, I give him a shot at my belt.
Now, of course, another person to throw out there is Martin Enwin. He's the champion at featherweight. He's fought you before twice. He's been the champion at lightweight before. Is that a fight that you have a burning desire since he's beaten you twice? You really want to run him back once again? Would you like maybe not for your next opponent, but maybe sometime at the end of the year, maybe early 20 at some point, a champ versus champ fight with him?
Absolutely. I feel that there is still unfinished business, and I am still open to going back down to featherweight and challenging him for his belt. When I got the shot, I was the number one contender in the featherweight
Mm.
division. So I feel that I still deserve a shot, and you know, we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, that's definitely something on my mind.